So welcome to Two Cooks in the Kitchen. Kelly Cook here. I came across a recipe the other day, well, I guess it's been a month or so, on the back of a cranberry sauce can. And I don't know about you, but sometimes those recipes can be really worth trying. So wasn't on this one. I cut it off. It's been hanging up here on the board for a little while to try. It's called Outrageous Outrageous Chocolate Cranberry Fudge Cake. So I looked at the ingredients and I went, well, we have all those things, and for flour we can use gluten-free flour, so we can make this gluten-free too, which makes so everybody can eat it. So let's give this a try. I haven't made it before, so we're going to find out. So to start, you're supposed to use an 8-inch cake pan. Well, for some reason we don't have an 8-inch cake pan, so we're going to use a 9. It's going to be a little flatter, but that's okay. You spray it, which I did. Oh, foil, and then spray it, and then you put some flour in there, and you just sort of bump it around until it coats everything. You could also use, this isn't on the recipe, but you could also use cocoa powder. Some people like to do that, especially for a chocolate cake. But I'm not worried about that. Okay, so my pan's ready. I'm going to put my oven on 325. So it starts to heat. Now, to begin, we are going to use 2/3 of a cup of chocolate chips. And of course, now this is my kitchen, so instead of the semi-sweet that it says, I'm using dark chocolate. That's it, make it your own. I have an ounce of unsweetened, what do you call that?
Baking chocolate.
Baking chocolate, yep. Gonna put that in there. And a 1/2 cup of butter. The recipe says you can use margarine, but I don't know who uses margarine these days. Butter is just so much better. So we're going to put that in there. Probably would have worked better if I'd cut that in pieces. I think I'll do that. Or softened, which I didn't. So I'm going to cut this up a little bit so it'll... I always make it difficult, don't I? Would have worked to do that ahead of time. Just a little hint, cut up the butter ahead or have it all the way softened. It'll be fine. It'll be just fine. Okay, so now I'm going to microwave this for a minute on regular high temp and get that to melt. Okay, so that was a minute. I think we might have to go a little bit longer. We're going to stir this around. You don't want it to have any chunks of chips in it. It's very buttery. There's no calories in this dish, so you can have as much as you want. I remember hearing one time, if you have this with a Diet Coke, then it cancels out the calories. That's going pretty good. I don't want to do it too much longer, but I am going to do it for just maybe 20 more seconds. Okay, so that totally is all melted now. Actually, I might want to use a whisk on this to get it blended even better. I think it will. Just eat that with a spoon. Okay. So make sure you've used a microwave safe bowl when you're doing this. Okay, now this I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. So just put that in there. And the cranberries. And I forgot to mention, you can use either the whole cranberries or the jellied. And we even had to make another trip back to the store because I got the wrong one. I wanted the berries. I want that to have a little punch of berry mixed in with the chocolate. Let's see. I'm gonna blend this well. I also really think that cranberries are not solely for holidays. I think that's baloney. They're good to have anytime you want something. Let's see, tang on it. Okay, that looks really good. All right, now I'm going to add all the rest of my things. Let's see, we have, uh-oh, let me see how much. I'm gonna follow this little recipe. Teaspoon of vanilla. I'm gonna do this a little bit out of order. 2 eggs. Don't want to put my dry ingredients in here yet. I'm a little worried about them turning into clumps. I don't always trust other people's recipes. I probably could have also cracked those eggs ahead of time and mixed them up a little bit. I don't know, I'm just kind of trying to follow this recipe and I always have my own quirks about it. Okay, so now I want to add my flour. It's a 1/4 cup and a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. The little thing about baking powder is if you don't bake a whole lot, make sure your baking powder isn't expired. When you go to use it, we had some recipe one time that Matthew was making and it totally flopped. I don't remember what it was. And then we looked at the baking powder and it had expired years before. So I went to the store, got him another baking powder. Amazing how well that worked. Okay. There's that. Okay. The cameraman. All right, now I'm going to pour this into my wrong size pan. But it'll be fine. And then we're going to put it in that 325 oven as soon as it's hot enough. Okay. There. Make sure that's even in there. Okay. We'll come back in a minute. Okay, so 325 on my oven. I'm gonna pop this in here. Set the timer for 40 minutes. And we're gonna hope that they have the right amount of time on that recipe. Everyone's oven can vary. So when my 40 minutes is up, I'm gonna do the toothpick test to see if it's done. Okay, the timer went off. It's been 40 minutes. I'm a little surprised how big that got, but I have a feeling it's just gonna fall again. I'm gonna stick a toothpick in there. Oh, that's pretty gooey. Nope.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give that longer.
It looks like it needs longer, doesn't it?
I'll do like 6 more minutes. Okay, that was 6 more minutes, so that'd be a total of 46 minutes. You know, I think our oven is not exactly, so it's pretty good. It's just little chunks stuck on there. I think we're gonna call that good. So now we are going to just let this cool for 30 minutes, just like this. And then we're gonna put it in the refrigerator for an hour and let it cool some more before we come up with some kind of a glaze to go on top of this. Okay, so I've had this fudge cake cooled outside the oven for 30 minutes and then in the refrigerator for an hour. It feels cool. So now we're gonna put it on this plate and then we're gonna make a glaze. So cross your fingers. And also it did sink down quite a bit, but I think it's gonna be plenty big pieces. It's gonna be pretty rich. Okay, here we go. It's gonna be like magic. I decided of this plate because it's gonna be fairly flat and then I want it big enough to hold the glaze. Okay, so I'm gonna get that out of there. Oh, look, we have 2. It's like magic.
Yeah.
Still not an 8-inch though.
No.
Okay. I think this is going to be kind of ugly at the moment. Yep. And this is why they talk about putting using cocoa.
Oh yeah.
You know, but I'm going to cover it up. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so for the glaze, we are going to take a 1/4 cup of whipping cream. We just happen to have some, except for the part I spilled. We'll put this in here, a microwave safe container. And then a 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. Put those in there like that. And now I'm going to microwave this for a minute. Let's see what happens. Melt those chips. Thank goodness for microwaves. Okay, a minute was plenty. It was making me a little nervous there though because it was bubbling and I don't want to scald the cream. This looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna get my little whisk out and see if that doesn't work a little better. And then to this we're gonna add a 1/4 cup of the cranberry sauce. Now here's the deal. So I went to the website for Ocean Spray. They also found this recipe on the Food Network channel. There, now it's nice and smooth, see? And it says to use the jellied cranberry sauce, but I used the other one. So we put this in the little blender thingy that we have and made it smoother. Otherwise it's going to be chunks. So let's put this in here. I hope this works. No matter what, I think it's going to taste good.
It's gonna be like a little ganache top.
Yeah, I hope so. That's the plan. Okay, here we go. Now we're just going to pour this on here. And let it do its thing. That should run over the edge and just hide all of that stuff I don't like looking at. I haven't made a cake in a really long time.
We only get to have things like this when we have company.
Yep. Which we're doing. So I saved it. She's gonna like it. She's not gonna mind one bit. Tell I'm not a professional.
You're not dripping enough. Yeah, it's getting there, but
Yeah.
see the side.
I just don't want to take
See
too
the
much.
side that's facing you.
Yep. Just
Oh, that's looking pretty
it is
good.
looking pretty good. And if you wanted to, you could decorate this with like powdered sugar on when it's all hardened, or maybe some raspberries. We don't really have anything to do that with, so I think we're probably just gonna go with this. One of these days I want to try to make a flourless cake. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So what we're gonna do is put it in the fridge for another hour and let that harden up a little bit, and we'll try it after that's done. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so this looks pretty nice, huh? Look, meaning me, I went out into the garden and found some edible flowers to decorate our cake after it's been, I actually put that in there while it was still kind of gooey so they would stick nicely. And we're ready to dish this up and have a taste. So let's see how I do. It's just gonna mess this all up now, but we'll see how it comes out. I think no one's gonna complain. I think it's gonna be really rich. Ta-da! That looks pretty good. Okay, let's do this. Okay. bite of this. Oh man, I just keep making messes. Okay, here we go. It's fudgy. I like the cranberries because I get a little bite of the cranberry in there. It's really delicious. So thank you for watching Two Cooks in the Kitchen. Don't forget to hit that button right down there that says subscribe. And we'll see you next time.